and we find out what's happening with starting with Trayvon Martin, then with Mike Brown, then with Gardner, and all of the others that have happened recently. There seems to be a further eroding of trust for the justice system. Now, when you get to a point, and it has to be a tipping point, where there is no trust, when people feel that they cannot receive justice in that system, then you have anarchy. And I'm trying to see, do you see us moving towards that kind of systemic distrust, or at least universal distrust, particularly on the part of African Americans?
I don't see us moving there. I think that African Americans are already there. I think that, if you just watch my trial live, and I'm sure you did in Alabama where you were, I'm sure that you saw a lot of atrocities, literally. And so I don't think we're having to move in a direction. I think that African Americans in particular have always had a distrust of the system, and I hate to say it, but rightfully so. And so I think you're having, just like, and again, I want to get back to why I think it's important that everyone goes to see Selma, is that, we need to be reminded of our history. See, I hear people, even today at church, I heard a couple of people say, well, I'm not going to go because I don't think that I can deal with that. It'll make me angry. Yes, it is going to make you angry. But the Bible says to be angry and sin not. Jewish people remind themselves of the Holocaust every day so that they never forget, so that they never go back to that place in time. The hands of the clock are literally being turned backwards. And even in the case law, there was a decision that just came out at the Supreme Court just last week that takes our case law and civil rights back another notch. Due to time, I won't go there. But there's a chipping away at our freedoms. There's a chipping away at our rights. And I think that the people, especially now because of the internet, because of social media, it's not that it was not always going on. It's now that we are seeing it on a greater degree because everybody has instant access now. And so it's not that police brutality did not exist before now. Now we're seeing it because people are literally standing on the side of the road with a cell phone. And years ago, everybody didn't have a cell phone. And so it's causing an outrage in people. But what we have to find a way to do is to become productive with it. We must become, because violence only leads to more violence. But we need a positive change, and we need to put ourselves in positions to make that change occur. See, some people didn't care whether there was ever an African-American juvenile court judge. But by me being in that position, coming from our culture and understanding what faces our people as a whole, that put me in a different position to be able to make decisions that maybe somebody else would not make. And so it's critically important that we stop standing back as people and waiting for someone else to do what we should be doing. And we need to step up to the plate. We need to educate our children. It makes no sense that in Cincinnati public schools for the last 6-7 years that the graduation rate of African-American males has only been 33%. And it stays that way. So as long as a child is not producing educationally, that child is going to have a very difficult time becoming a productive member of our society. So we cannot blame everything on the system. There are some things that we as a people must take responsibility for. We must take responsibility for raising our children. We must take responsibility for educating our children, not leaving our child's education to a system that does not care whether education, because they know that if the child doesn't get an education, they're more likely to end up in the criminal justice system, which then turns a dollar for the system. And so
what I'm going to do, let me do this, because I see where you're going, and I'm going to bring you right back in there. Don, you stay close. I'm going to bring you in. Well, this is our last break for the show. And as you know, we can't do this in 2 hours, but we did have 2 hours, and we had 2 wonderful hours that you could really just share your thoughts and pour out your heart as you see it. And we are so appreciative to you, Judge Hunter, for your truthfulness, for your honesty, and for your affirming to us that there are people who are willing to take a foul for the team. We'll be right back right after a message from your local station. Stay close.
This is a guided meditation on parenting. Take this time to breathe deeply and close your eyes. Right now, you're completely in control. Unlike the time you and your son played basketball and you attempted to slam dunk. Or when you tried removing those raccoons from the basement. Concentrate on the soothing sound of my voice. Release the memory of when you wrestled with that beehive in your son's treehouse. Let go of the time you thought that skunk was a cat. Or when you pulled into the garage with your son's bike on top of the car. Deep breaths. Deep breaths.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you. For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
I don't believe it. My savings are gone. They're gone.
You're kidding.
Nope, they're gone. They're gone.
Okay, all right. Think about it. Where did you have them last?
I remember I was home, then I took them, and then I spent them on that vacation to Aruba. Then I bought this miniature suit of armor I saw in the In-Flight magazine.
And that's the last you saw of your savings?
Yes.
This is so weird.
I know, right?
Weird? Not really. Not saving now means no money later. You'd be surprised how quickly a little money from every paycheck can really add up. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free ideas and easy ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org.
The armor is cool, though. Oops. I think I broke its gauntlet.
You broke my favorite part.
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
The book fair is coming. Save the date and join us at the Buzz Annual Book Fair, Saturday, March 28, 2015. If you're a writer, publisher, bookseller, or general vendor, and you would like to be involved in the 2015 book fair, contact our book fair hotline at 679-6000, extension 6146 for more information. The Buzz Book Fair.
The following is a paid program brought to you by You Got the Power. The views and opinions expressed are those of the sponsor and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the station and its management.
Okay, you're back again with You Got the Power. Don't forget the CIA, the Cincinnati Improvement Association, invites you to join them January 10th. That's going to be Saturday at 10 o'clock a.m. at the Showcase Cinema Deluxe, Springdale 18, for a private viewing of the movie Selma. You want to make sure that you see this movie. It is an incredible movie. I'm in the movie, so certainly I'm plugging the movie, but if I were not in the movie, I certainly would be plugging this movie. This is an incredible movie, and it's going to really give you some context as to what we are addressing today. It's not new, and it says there's nothing new under the sun. And this movie will really get you to understand that the struggle does not end, that the struggle is a continuum. And of course, so you want to make sure that you are a part of that. So what we want you to do is you need to get your tickets. The tickets are $10, and you can give them a call at 513-205-2656. That's 513-205-2656. You want to make sure that we fill up the theater with people who are thinking and are conscious. Also, give them a call at 513-378-1552. And let's do this. We got Judge. We got a lot of folk. We got Judge Tracy M. Hunter on the line. What we're going to do is we got so many folk up for us. Let's go to Vanessa Enoch first, and then we'll go on.
Hi there, Mayor Neal and Judge Tracy Marie Hunter, Pastor Hunter. How are you both today?
Good evening, Miss Enoch. Great, thank you. Great to hear from you.
Good, and it's good to hear you on the show. It's wonderful to actually get to hear your voice publicly, as I have behind the scenes been doing quite a bit in terms of social action, and I know some other folks have been asking how they can get involved as well. You know, some of the things that I personally have been working on of late is filing some complaints to the Ohio Supreme Court, and it disheartens me to see so many attorneys sitting by and watching what's going on, because I know they have a sworn duty to report when they see injustices and illegalities, as have been the case in your particular situation. And also, there is a website, a couple of websites that are set up. I know the one Legal Defense Fund site is down. However, there is still the other fund site for the Campaign for Our Children. I know, Judge Hunter, you personally can't get involved in fundraising initiatives, but aside from those particular things, filing complaints and donating to the cause, what are some other kinds of things that folks can do to get involved and to kind of help out? Can you think of anything? And that question, actually, I'm posing to both you, Mayor Neal, and Judge Tracy Hunter.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Enoch.
And let me first of all Ms. Enoch for her work. She is somebody that did a case study on me, and she didn't set out to do it on me. She set out to do it, I think, on something else. But she ended up just doing a case study and really documenting a lot of the things that actually were happening and that happened to me that led up to me ultimately being indicted, charged with crimes, and then prematurely removed from the bench while all of this saga continues. But the thing that I appreciate is that even while I was going through trial, you know, the media has been completely one-sided, actually starting in 2010, because I was not the choice for that particular position. And so in 2010, they literally started slanting stories and just literally coming out saying things that were just absolutely just not true, just period, for the last 4 years, and just building. And Miss Enoch and another young lady, Sherry Franklin, they came from the Union Institute, did a case study, and then they began to broadcast the trial live. And it's because of them that people really got to see the real truth. They really got to see what they would have never seen because the media never reports the truth. But they began to show what was actually going on and helping to begin to bring balance to the story and really opening up people's eyes to really see, people of all races, what is really going on and what really happened to me. And so I just want to say, Ms. Enoch, I personally appreciate the great work. I see that you've been writing articles in the Cincinnati Herald and continuing to open up people's eyes regarding what has happened to me, literally, which is really like Selma. And, I mean, going back to Alabama, Mississippi, I mean, I've often commented personally, I feel like I'm living in 1940, 1950, the type of things that are happening to me and that have happened. People will never know the level of egregiousness, the racist hate mail that I received in the court. Literally, just racist attack mail, you know, life being threatened repeatedly and being constantly concerned about my life. And so I just want to personally say thank you for opening up people's eyes. And then to answer your question, and I appreciate you're absolutely right.
Judge, I want to do a couple of things. One is we need to make sure that our questions are answered pretty quickly because I got a line of people waiting to talk to you or to say something. So we have just a short period of time. So I just want to alert you to that.
I would say in response to your question, Ms. Enoch, it's helpful when I can get out into arenas where people invite me to come, where I can literally speak and tell the story or tell people what's really going on, right those misconceptions and all of those false statements that have been made. So when people have an opportunity that I can come in and help to set the record straight, that's really appreciated. People that know the truth, sharing it with other people who still don't understand. That's very helpful. And then I appreciate what you said about filing the complaint, because a lot of egregious activities have taken place. And yes, lawyers do have an ethical responsibility, but most are not doing that right now. And so the fact that you as a citizen are stepping up to the plate and trying to attack what you see to be an injustice, also having been arrested yourself for just walking down the hallway with an iPad, those are some of the things that people can do.
Okay. Thank you very much. All right, let's go to GC. Quickly, GC, if you could make your statement or question, and we're going to have to move over.
Point in there, because I know you're strapped for time. I just wanted the judge, if she could, was to talk about, and I know we're really strapped for time, is the law that was changed, even with the allegation that they made against her. One of the laws was changed. She changed the law of the land in this state, and I don't know that people really feel that, and that's all I got.
Thank you, Geneva. She's absolutely correct. I made a ruling while on the bench. It was a discovery ruling. You know, anytime somebody is charged with a crime, the prosecutors are supposed to turn over all what is called exculpatory evidence. That's evidence that goes to either the innocence or to guilt of the person. And what was happening in juvenile court and in adult court as well is that the prosecutors were withholding information. And so when they would when the defense lawyers representing the children would try to get the information, the prosecutors would not turn the information over. So I made a couple of rulings, ordered them to turn over this information, specifically a 527B, a police report, and I had determined that if there was information in that report after I looked at it that should be turned over, they must turn it over. And the prosecutors refused. They appealed the decision. In fact, they ended up charging me with one of the cases I was actually charged with a crime had to do with that 527B because they were so resistant to turning that information over to the defense. So they appealed to the First District Court of Appeals. The First District Court of Appeals said that I was wrong. They appealed it to the state. The defense appealed it to the state of Ohio. The Supreme Court actually said that I was right. And because that law had never, or that issue had never been determined in the state of Ohio, it's now law. My ruling is now law in the state of Ohio. It impacts not just children, but adults. And what it means is that in any case that comes before a judge, a criminal case, that the defense has the right to all information that that prosecutor has, including police reports. And if the prosecution doesn't want to turn it over, they have to give it to the judge, and the judge must determine if it should be turned over, and if it should be turned over, they must turn it over. And so just in a year's time of being on the bench, I made a ruling that now is state law in all of Ohio. It impacts all 88 counties. And so thank you, Geneva, for bringing that up.
Okay, we're going to see if we can get, let me see, you got Ernesto, just shortly, I'm going to give you a couple of seconds, just a few seconds.
In 1956, I was arrested when I was 17 years old. The police held me on suspicion for 72 hours. I got arrested on a Friday. They kept me to court on Sunday when I was 18.
What's your point? You need to make your point because I only have a few seconds.
I'm done.
Oh, okay. All right. Alicia, you waited so long. Can you make a statement in a couple of seconds?
Thank you, Judge Tracy Hunter, for being true to your creator. And the door has been open. It will never be closed again. We see this system of cowards and what they're doing. They made a mistake and not knowing that the Almighty has you.
Okay. All right. Bernadette, you got the last word. Make it very, very short.
I'll just say this. That which is of the flesh is of the flesh. That which is of the spirit is of the spirit. When making a slave, the first thing you do is give them social acceptability. Then you feed them in small ranches, jails, medicines, religions, public housing. But you slowly take it away through taxation, privatization, and gentrification within, and you will have them hoping and praying forever.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Well, the clock on the wall says it's time for us to get out of here. Judge, thank you so much for coming and sharing with us. We had a wonderful time, as I know we would. But we'll do it again. We'll be back to same time, same station next week, and we'll continue with our dialogue. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Stewart View Apartments. Give them a call at 513-205-2656. Don't forget about Bill Brown, Eastside Realty. Give them a call at 513-221-5221. And don't forget about Selma. It's the movie Selma. Don't forget to go out and be a part of the movie Selma. It will be showcased at 10 o'clock a.m. That's Saturday morning at the Showcase Cinema Deluxe Springdale 18. It's a private viewing of Selma. And if it's $10 in advance, give them a call at 513-205-2656. That's 513-205-2656 or 513-378-1552. Pick up your tickets in advance. They're $10 in advance and go.